Get more ways to play on every sport. Baseball, golf, and Canadian football are still in full swing because it's the summertime, baby. So get involved. The action always starts at Sports Interaction. It's Canada's sportsbook. Bet on the game before it starts, live and play, or use one of the many prop bets that we always talk about on the show. Doing it right since 97. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, easy to play, and cash out. Join now and see all that sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. It's 18 plus. Please play responsibly. The Leafs trade Petr Mrazek. So they basically trade down. The 25th pick turns into the 38th pick. You did call it. Hang on. That's
the most important part. Get to it.
And obviously Petr Mrazek to Buffalo, Chicago. No salary retained. 2 more years at $3.8 million. And the Leafs do not have that on their cap anymore. So what did you want to say? Why do you take your victory lap?
Well, I not say that's exactly what they would do.
You did.
I owe you both Montreal smoked meat sandwiches.
That's right.
We made the bet.
That's right. Yeah.
No, Steve doesn't remember, so I don't know. Adam, I owe you a sandwich.
You do.
Steve's memory is like a fish, so
sometimes it's good, and sometimes listen, you got to give something to get some. Earl Schwartz.
That's our old phrase.
Oh, Earl Schwartz of Leafs Nation. I was going to pull up this tweet as well. I love this.
Earl Schwartz of Schwartz's Deli, where you're getting your Montreal smoked meat sandwich.
You read it. Go ahead and read it.
So the Leafs go from pick 25 to pick 38 in order to move Mrazek. Earl Schwartz tweets, based on the pick value model I've been using for the last few years, the difference in value between pick 25 and pick 38 is equivalent to a late 7th. So the Leafs paid roughly a 7th to offload Mrazek's $3.8 million cap hit with 2 years remaining. So
a lot of people are hung up on the first round versus second round thing.
And they're not all created equal. Like this is what I get hung up on when I do the trade trees, is I make sure to emphasize where the picks were.
Well, because, okay, so there have been studies done on this, and on aggregate, the difference between pick 20 and pick 40 is not a whole lot.
No, and especially, like, this draft feels ridiculously even.
Yeah.
And, there's guys who, in all the scouting reports that I read, I'm like, boy, you guys aren't certain about anything, are you?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Skates real good, big body, likes to shoot.
Now,
that's all of them.
Yeah.
So, okay, why not just wait for the next guy who does all those things? And you do get the impression that this year is magic beans.
You figured out why the Leafs were able to do this trade. Because of so Dubas said that we made this trade because the guy we wanted was already taken. And you figured out who the guy that they took.
Yeah, I want to give proper credit. I don't remember who tweeted it, but they basically said, so Dubas, after pick 19, which was Leon Bichelle, who's a monster, to the Minnesota Wild.
Liam Ogren.
Liam Ogren?
So Bichelle was the one you were thinking about. Liam Ogren is the one who went to the Wild.
Yeah.
The big guy is Bichelle. He didn't go to the Wild. He went. He went before Liam Ogren.
So this is another thing. Since the stream ended, I have had zero chance to go back through what happened.
It's okay.
So who's Liam Ogren? I think I spoke to him too.
Yeah, he's the other. He's Swedish, left-handed shot.
Defenseman.
Winger.
Left wing.
Yeah, big 6'1".
Oh my god.
200 pounds.
It's a 3.5 hour stream.
Yeah.
So the Leafs wanted him.
Yes.
The Leafs,
out of the SHL.
Yeah, supposedly they wanted him. Chatter at the Leafs table picked up once he was gone. And so I think Dubas was sitting there, and I think he was happy to pick him at 25. He wasn't available at 25, so all right, let's make a deal with the Blackhawks.
Now, I want to compare and contrast here. The Oilers traded Zach Kassian to the Coyotes, $3.2 million. So Kassian makes less. He's got 2 years left as well, like Petr Mrazek.
Great comparison.
Oilers trade Zach Kassian to the Coyotes. It involves a pick swap, moving down 3 spots, 29 to 32, plus a second and a third. And what's interesting about this is that the Edmonton Oilers paid more. By the way, the pick is a 2025 second round and a 2024 third round.
Hilarious.
That's it, which is hilarious because honestly, it doesn't hurt them now. It's no big deal. I think, but what's interesting is that objectively, the Oilers paid a higher price to get rid of less money than the Leafs did. Mm-hmm. And I thought Thomas Strantz had a really good take on it. He said it would be easy to compare the prices paid by Dubas in hauling in dumping cap space tonight and construe it as a shot at Holland. Fact is, Holland paid usual market price. Chicago, however, under new management, got absolutely rinsed.
Interesting. I keep getting more and more fascinated by the Arizona Coyotes and what the hell they're going to be next season and who the hell is going to play for them. And I realized something when they got Zach Kassian is, they're probably going to be bad, but they're going to try.
Yeah.
I still think they're going to overachieve, and they're going to overachieve by beating the shit out of
They're going to be Vitas Cheha, which was owned by a bunch of Russian mobsters, we think.
Allegedly mobsters. Please don't hurt me.
Allegedly, and they basically signed a bunch of fighters and just beat the crap out of everybody they played.
Yeah, the difference is they weren't good.
Right.
But they did beat the shit out of everybody.
Right, okay.
And now they got, like, Nick Ritchie and Zach Kassian could both be on the same line. They could both be on the top line together.
That's not fun to play against.
No, it's.
I mean, if you can, you'll skate around them, but
you'll win. But at what cost?
Right. And I thought that the comparison between the two trades, they're essentially the same thing, was very, very interesting. And I don't know. Drance is pretty connected, so I don't think he would have said that without knowing something. I wondered what your thoughts were on that. Do you feel like Chicago got rinsed? I mean, they need somebody to play goalie there.
Well, based on what this is the thing, right? So this is what we've talked about. Listen, Mrazek, he's still a National Hockey League goalie, man. Like,
he's an 888 National Hockey League goalie.
He was. Listen, there was a time,
he's a Martin Jones.
There was about a month this season where he was unusable. He wasn't an option at all. But like we talked about, he played 12 games the season before, played one game with the Leafs, got hurt, came back, played another game, got hurt, took some time off, came back, seasons paused. He never had a shot at being a Toronto Maple Leaf. You know what I mean? He never had a shot. And I think there are market pressures. You know what I mean? So he's going to be facing the same issues in Chicago that was going to be faced with here. But the difference is the fans here are like, okay, I think we've seen enough of Petr Mrazek.
Well, and the expectation, I think, in Chicago is they're going to lose anyway. So if he's successful, great. If he's not, great.
Yeah, like I think one thing we came away with Chicago's performance yesterday is they have no interest in being competitive next year at all.
And so they drop Kirby Dach and they drop Alex DeBrincat.
I mean, Senators fans, I hate the trade, which means you won.
Yeah. So Mark Lazarus and Scott Powers are, long considered two of the best Chicago Blackhawks writers. And Lazarus said outright in his column this morning on The Athletic, it was a mistake. I rarely hear Mark Lazarus talk like that. And it's not because he's like a homer or whatever. He's very measured and that's what makes him so good. But for him to go
his spots
outright, this is a mistake. And it does kind of not, you sort of look at it and you go, man, he's like, this kid's 24. He scored 40 goals twice already. It's so hard to find 40 goal scorers. And I know he's playing with Kane. And I know that total likely doesn't happen this year against, with Ottawa, unless him and Shabbat really start to link up. But it gives Ottawa the goal scoring they absolutely need. We talked about this a couple episodes ago. They need a finisher. They got one.
Yep.
And he might walk to free agency here in a few years. But in the meantime, you get to try to convince him to stay in Ottawa long term because they think they're going to win. But Chicago, Dach and DeBrincat, both under the age of 25, could they not be a part of the competitive window?
I don't get the thought process, and especially Dach, who has struggled and probably didn't have as much value as he'll have next year if he improves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the other option is he goes the wrong way. And this is the most value you were ever going to get from him. But with Chicago, here's the question I would have. How many points did Connor McDavid ever put up with the Buffalo Sabres?
0 points.
0 points. Connor Bedard is extremely good. I think the tank for him is going to be shocking next year.
So Buffalo, Chicago.
Yeah, man. I think Buffalo's trying to compete. But Chicago is... I got to say they're the clubhouse front runner
Coyotes will
for
make a
that kid.
Uh,
charge at that, I think.
I
no. Coyotes
I
will
think
be
it's a race
decent.
to the bottom. It's Chicago lost a lot yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Coyotes will be decent.
Oh,
Yeah.
decent. Sorry. I thought
Yeah,
you
because
said
Adam
Chicago.
threw the Coyotes in the race for the bottom. I don't think they're going to be a race for the bottom. I think like the Mrazek deal kind of makes sense for me for Chicago because they need a starting goaltender.
Who sucks?
And they're the last time he played a full season, he was a 9.14, I think, save percentage.
But with
I
the
think it was
Carolina, with the Carolina
full season,
defense,
yeah.
the Carolina system, guys.
Sure, but they're not trying to win. Like that's
I know.
not what Chicago's trying to do. They need just a guy who can play 50 NHL games, and they received that.
They'll be able to trade him at the deadline.
Yeah.
They will, or maybe they get rid of one of their other guys. Maybe they hold on to D'Elia and Lankinen because who knows, Mrazek's groin could explode at any moment. But that team is going to go really hard after Connor Bedard.
Yep.
And you have a 1 in 5 shot if you finish last.
It's supposed to be a strong draft, so we'll see what they do. Like maybe they'll be happy finishing anywhere.
But they
in that
want
top.
Bedard.
Yeah.
Well, so who did Buffalo get instead of McDavid? Eichel. Next year, it's McDavid and Michkov. McDavid and Michkov.
Bedard and
God, I'm
Michkov.
tired. Bedard and Michkov. But again, because the draft lottery isn't the way it was in 2015, you could finish last and still whiff on both those guys. You could still pick fourth. Is it worth it to do all this just to pick fourth? Who's supposed to go fourth next year? Is this really worth it? I mean, I think with a top 5 pick next year, Chicago would be lucky to get a player as talented as Alex DeBrincat. DeBrincat's a star. He's one of the best goal scorers in the NHL.
70-something points last year.
They must have been really convinced that they weren't going to be able to get that done because
Apparently, his qualifying offer when his contract's up is $9 million or something like that. It's a big number.
he's worth
But
it.
He is worth
a
it.
40 goal score should be worth $9 million.
Yeah.
Plus, you have $21 million coming off the books with Taves and Kane.
Yeah, man, we've heard some wild shit with them.
Do you have the Lazarus quotes?
I still think there's a chance
Yeah, I'll pull
both
him
those
up.
guys are dealt before we leave Montreal.